So I've read Atomic Habits, Tiny Habits, and Mini Habits, and I'm going to review my favorite key lesson from each book. It's 3 habit frameworks to change your life in 3 minutes. The first is from Atomic Habits. Every action is a vote for the type of person you want to become. For example, you are casting a vote for the unhealthy version of yourself if you eat donuts for breakfast. On the other hand, eating an apple for breakfast is a vote for the healthy version of yourself. And if you think about an election, you don't need all the votes to win, right? You don't need 100%. You only need the majority. And what this means is that you don't need to be perfect, right? It's okay to mess up. Just don't make messing up a habit. So a very common DM that I get from students is right after they failed an exam. They feel terrible, they feel like a failure, but I say, hey, look, you must have passed more exams than you failed to be where you are today, right? So failing 1 or 2 exams doesn't make you a failure. Plus, there's still dozens of exams ahead of you. Plenty of chances for you to rebalance the scales back in your favor. So keep casting the right votes with every decision you make. Going forward, you should choose to study instead of playing video games. Choose to get more sleep rather than staying up. Choose to actually focus instead of scrolling on your phone. You want to keep casting votes for the better version of yourself. The next tip is from Tiny Habits. There's a big difference between rewarding yourself and celebrating your wins. Let's say you want to reward yourself by getting your work done on time with an ice cream. That ice cream is an incentive. The motivation to get your work done is coming from the ice cream. That's extrinsic motivation. On the other hand, celebration doesn't necessarily involve any sort of prize. Celebrating your wins doesn't need to be extravagant, like popping bottles and confetti. A celebration can be as simple as doing a fist pump, like what athletes do when they score a point. On the outside, the physical action looks brief and small, but on the inside, in your brain, you're releasing dopamine to reinforce your habits with the feeling of achievement. So instead of relying on the dopamine from a reward, like ice cream, you want to cultivate dopamine intrinsically from a sense of pride, which is shown to be more effective and more sustainable when you're trying to build good habits. The third tip is from Mini Habits. You want to scale your habits down to a mini version that is stupidly simple to do. Emphasis on stupidly simple. Something that you would hate yourself for not being able to do. For example, it's hard to do 30 push-ups a day. It's easier to do 5 push-ups a day, but it's stupidly simple to do 1 push-up a day on the wall. But the way it works is that you give yourself the option to do more push-ups if you want to, but you don't make it an obligation. You get to decide, which gives you the sense of autonomy that you're in control of the push-ups, not the other way around. So I've tried this framework and it's been working. It was like a reverse psychology trick that I played on my brain. Some days I would do just 1 wall push-up, but other days I ended up doing like 10 or 20, and there were even some days when I felt extra inspired and I did way more than 30. And push-ups is just one example, but you can scale any habit into different tiers. Here's another one. Playing an entire song on the guitar is challenging. It's easier to play chords, but playing 1 note is stupidly simple. Reading 1 sentence a day or flossing 1 tooth. Keep it an option, not an obligation. So this is the beginning of our brand new series called Habit Quest, where by the end of the course, you'll have developed at least 1 new habit. We're gonna make each video as actionable and practical as possible, so check out the next video right here.